opposed? Okay, we'll start with the 10U Maha State Tournament. We will be hosting it here at West Shore this year. That means our 10U team gets an automatic into that. We're gonna need a lot of help. So if anyone's available, we'll get information out on dates and things. The second weekend in March, I believe, that we're looking at.
The date's on the back, I think, yes. 8th, 9th, and 10th of March.
Sarah does the fun stuff.
Back to the, yep.
Is that the state tournament?
State tournament.
So our 10U automatically made states.
Yep.
Pretty dope.
Haven't even stepped on the ice twice. See how that goes.
It's gonna be a
but,
killer team.
Do they know that?
The kids do not.
The kids do not, the parents do. Because they really weren't listening at the parent meeting.
Right.
They had way too much fun.
They were in the room, but whether they were listening or not.
12U parent meeting, do you wanna take that one? What do you want me to do?
As far as like how it went, we didn't really have a ton of people there for the meeting itself. Trying to discuss whether or not we have a 12U team or not. It's still a discussion of whether or not to try to get those kids still on the ice. We want to still incorporate them in some ways. I know we had Lane and Bruno practice for 14U. We have a couple more that we're still trying to figure out whether or not they would like to at least join in on practices. But I don't know if we made a final.
So one thing we talked about is many 14U teams practice an hour and a half. And so if there is no set just 12U team, inviting any 12U players that want to skate with 14U for the first hour. And then the last half hour that 14U would be on the ice would be their checking drills. So the 12U kids wouldn't be involved in any of the checking drills. And then they could be evaluated and determine if they want to continue on as just 12U, and if we don't have enough kids, get them into some 4x4 tournaments, which we found a few of those. If they did think and feel that they were ready by that December deadline, which is December 31st, right? Then they could be rostered as 14U and still have the option next year to come back as 12U if they would want to do that. So it's kind of going to be up to each individual family and the coaching director and coaches as to what they feel their abilities are and what they're comfortable with.
So are you changing the practice times? Because right now we only practice for 50 minutes.
So we are waiting on a final price from Tim for the ice, because we would have to pay for the additional ice, and it wouldn't be player supported, so it'd be something the association would have to pick up that extra ice time. And Tim has requested that if we do that, they wanted to move to 6 to 7:30.
Will that be twice a week still?
Yes, same days, just 6 to 7:30, so you get an additional half hour of ice. Nobody on the board felt comfortable asking players to pick up that cost. So if we do that, it would be a cost that the association would fundraise for or absorb.
How many players do you have right now at 12U?
One.
Oh,
One officially that has
One that's
registered and signed up.
okay.
There are others who are interested. I believe,
There's a handful, but we haven't like said anything officially yet, so I
Yeah,
think
we told
most
them
of
once
them
we
aren't
knew the
even
price.
aware of this as an option at this point, but that's kind of what we're chatting about, so, you know.
but we are inviting kids to come out now and skate. And that if it doesn't turn into a full-blown 12U team, there would be a modified price for just ice time and skating and coaching and then whatever those 4x4 tournaments would be. So we want to have something available, but
Right.
without the registrations, it's hard. But right now we're just waiting on Tim to get us an exact cost. We think it's going to be about $4,500 for the ice for the full year for that extra half hour.
Okay.
When are we looking to have that, an answer for that?
Hopefully,
Yes,
the
Tim.
next week.
What, I mean, you guys as a board, like, making the decision on.
Yeah, I think he was at
price.
Adre when he was at was it Adre or Maha? He was at one of the
Maha.
state meetings when we
Okay.
had that meeting, so we had to communicate with him via
Sure.
text and say, I don't think we need this price so that we can figure out what we're gonna do. But hopefully, we can find a good solution and keep kids playing hockey. We were offered, an opportunity, so this might actually work out if we vote on this today. We were offered the opportunity to be the beneficiary of a Darren McCarty group meet and greet. It is happening in Manistee. It will be held in the parking lot, but it is hosted by a cannabis business. I believe Darren McCarty is involved in those types of businesses. We would not have to do anything other than tell people it's happening and accept their check. We had a long discussion about that, and I said I wanted to take an official vote tonight and get some input from the association, because we are a children's organization, and I told her we don't promote that, and she said we are just promoting the meet and greet. And they have some sticks and jerseys and things that they sell there.
Do we know how much the check might be?
I don't, but we could probably ask Big Rapids, because they just did it there.
Was it in that article? I don't think it was in that article.
What the percentages or whatever.
Yeah, how they determine.
So he did this in Big Rapids recently, and it says he talked with fans, signed sticks, pictures, jerseys, and shared his strong advocacy for cannabis. So I don't know, I didn't know who he was before, but he used to play for the Red Wings, I guess.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's what I know.
You're gonna have to design this.
He does have his own brand, and he wants to share his love for the plant. So he advocates for legalization. What else to say? Meet and greet outside.
And the kids don't have to be present or anything.
No,
Okay.
unless they want to take a picture with him or something, I guess.
I mean, I feel like your older kids know better and they would be okay to Super Bowl to go and.
Nobody is forced to go, nobody's forced to be involved at all. And I told her that, I said, I'm very leery about kids' organization sharing something that's not legal for children.
Right.
And she said, I said, what are you asking of us? What do you want us to do? And she said, I want you to accept the check. I said, well, that was not a problem. And just tell people the event's going on.
I think that's good.
And it's not happening here in Mason County, but it's happening in Manistee County. She, I guess, grew up around here, and grew up coming to Wolves games and Manistee High School games and different things, and she thought it would be a good beneficiary of their event.
And Big Rapids was just the successors of the last one, like their hockey association. I feel like if.
Did their hockey association publicize it? So we can publicize it solely as a meet and greet with Darren McCarty.
It was definitely written up in the newspaper, Big Rapids News, so there's at least that.
You could just list the address, you don't have to
Midland
list
Daily
that it's at.
News talked
Is it
about-
at a dispensary?
Yeah.
I probably.
Outside in the parking lot.
I mean, would it be much different than when, like, people do fundraisers and stuff where there's alcohol involved? I mean, that's the same kind of deal there, that's not legal for kids, but they might do fundraisers where the adults are drinking, or at a drinking establishment
Or
for
rafts,
youth
like on
sports.
Yeah.
baskets with liquor in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, which,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
It's not like it's not legal.
Yeah, it is a
It'd be different if it wasn't
operating
legal.
business in the state of Michigan,
Right.
so, but I'm not willing to put anything out there without the association talking about it and voting on it and getting people's thoughts, because the last thing I wanna do is just be like, yeah, we got this check, and, top of the check's gonna be whatever this institution it's being held outside of, but, so.
I mean, I think it's cool that they chose us to even want to give it back to, as a hockey association.
Is everybody that's present comfortable with this?
I mean, if I asked my son, would you wanna go meet somebody who played for the Red Wings, he'd be like, yeah.
He doesn't care where it's at.
I mean,
Right.
he wouldn't really probably be paying attention to that, you know
Does
what I
it
mean?
bother you
No,
as a parent?
Or
it
a
doesn't
teacher.
bother me.
Anyone?
We got back there, what was he thinking?
When you accepted silent auction items from the beer distributors,
Yeah.
I don't see a difference really. It's legal.
This is a good time to say this is being streamed live, right?
Yes.
On Facebook right now. Are there any comments? I don't even know if there's anybody watching right now, but
We have one person watching and no comments.
thank you for watching.
So I would like us to take a vote. If there's no more comments from the board. questions, anybody else, any other concerns? Okay. All in favor of being the beneficiary of the Darren McCarty meet and greet, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried, I will let, where is Destiny? I'll let her know. Okay, Vice President report. Sarah, do you wanna do that, or you want me to do it?
I can read through here. So we are taking jersey and sock orders through the end of the week, right? Is that the 22nd on Friday?
Yes.
I think we've probably covered most 10U, 12U, 14U. I don't know about 6U, 8U, how that works. For orders, we don't worry about that right now.
We don't worry about that right now.
Okay.
We have,
Oh, we don't need game jerseys and socks for
correct,
that, okay. All right, so if you need a new jersey or socks, please talk to your team manager or coach ASAP. There is on the agenda a size chart. It's not the best quality, but it's there.
What are you
And we
gonna
do
do
have jerseys.
about the kids that are unsure about 14, the 12U is going in each direction if they don't have
So-
jerseys yet?
They do have jerseys. What do you mean?
If they don't, or if they needed new ones
Oh,
and they
they
haven't
would-
ordered because they're not sure if there's going to
If they
be a
haven't
team.
registered, then they're missing out on the beginning of the season anyway, so
That's gonna
that's kind of
take
part of it.
longer.
I would assume they all have jerseys currently,
As long
and
as they still fit.
they should all have white and blue socks, but again, at this point, we're probably not going to be playing the games with the 14U. I mean, that's tentative, I suppose, but,
that's a decision of evaluations based on Brandon's.
yeah. Coaches
And the
and coaching
coaches.
director, yeah.
Right.
So I guess, should somebody need something new, we do have some here in stock, but we'll cross that.
But
bridge
we
when
are
get
gonna
there.
order 2 extra
Extras.
per team away in a home just to have, so there's a possibility we would have jerseys.
I have a question. So, I was just sorry, about the 12U thing. If it were to do the extended practices, you said the younger kids wouldn't be doing the checking stuff, but if they did somehow make it into where they'd be playing with the
They
14U,
stay for the whole practice.
but they would continue with those checking
Mhm.
abilities and learning that kind of stuff and stuff? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Cause they have to be able to
Well, yeah,
accept it and give it
Yeah.
as a
I just-
14-year player.
I just had,
Most of the children that, or I shouldn't say children, most of the players that I see currently that would fit into that bill.
Right.
With 2 months of practicing, they are already exceptional skaters.
Right.
And I would have a hard time believing that they couldn't adapt to it. And we're not asking these players to move up early to carry a team. They're gonna be sitting behind a very heavy stouted 14U team.
right,
So they're gonna be able to learn, they're gonna be able to get on the ice here and there. They're not gonna be sitting there told, well, go do a 6-minute shift, hope you don't die. So
That's no fun.
that's kind of where it falls back on, if the 14U wasn't as heavy as it is right now, it wouldn't even really be a consideration, because then you're asking a lot out of a very young player.
Right.
And I wouldn't be comfortable doing that, and I don't think anyone in this organization would be comfortable doing that. But the fact that it is such a heavy 14U team, it's very easy to stick them in behind those guys, get them into practice, maybe get them on the ice for 1-2 real quick, so that way they're still not missing out on a whole year of hockey. Because eventually, those players are still gonna come back next year, and we're gonna get that 12U team back together. So that's kind of the whole thought of that is if you do plan, I know we already have Landon Bruno, that, their family's, very okay with it. I know he's a very bigger kid, but
And he
still,
was a couple days off the break.
Yeah.
So
but it's
Right.
still
that
gonna
was
be,
kind of like a,
it's still gonna be a leap for him. He had a very positive season last year, but it's still gonna be an exceptional leap for him to get in there with some of these other kids that can obviously do it a lot better. So, but again, it's gonna come down to evaluations, parents wanting and ability to do it. We know no matter what, if they do get hit, it's gonna be a penalty, because they're gonna be,
Flying.
yeah, so, it's gonna be a couple conversations before something like that even happens, so, sorry, I didn't mean to kind of.
no.
And I have no
that should
doubt
be
that the older 14U kids will have their backs and not let them even
That, you mean, that's definitely part
get
of it.
taken out that way, because the same thing that they've had done for them, you just watch out for the younger kids. Or the smaller kids, I should say.
At this point, it's just a situation that we're one-on-one with the parents, the kids, and the coaching director and coaching staff. So.
then for vice president report, team player pictures. So that is a discussion that we will have probably at the next e-board meeting. But if you have a local photographer that you would like to recommend to take the pictures, please submit that person to the email that's listed. Just the team for the Wolves email. We will also have apparel offered, Wolves apparel offered soon. My note is it's coming next week, so stay tuned.
So these will be the orders through A&M
Yes.
that we do every year.
Yeah.
And then, just so everybody knows, we are working, Mike and Tim gave your okay for us to do a little store in the store here. So we're gonna be working on that, hopefully getting some stuff in there very soon, so that we have some additional things. A&M won't be one-offs throughout the year, so if we can find a way to get some stuff in there throughout the year, so that we have.
A lot of grandparents and
Right.
uncles are always asking for that kind of stuff.
Hoodies, decals for your
Yeah.
car, if you have something that you'd like to suggest.
Backpacks.
We can do all kinds of
Hats.
fun things.
Hats are always popular.
I was told to bring in this portfolio and this photographer that I had. I've been working with Roy on it. So I don't, Vince Rockwell, yep,
Oh, yeah.
out of Custer. He's got price sheets, I got all his portfolio right here, he does a great job. He's got a lot of cool ideas to bring in, so I'm just not sure if you wanna pass this around, like how to do it. I do need to get this back to him eventually, I've had it for like a week already.
He's on Facebook too.
Yeah, he's
his
great.
group's amazing.
He's on
Yeah.
Facebook. He's done all the fair photos, he just did the Harvest Festival Queen pageant, lots of senior pictures, like he's got a good presence within the community right now, and I know a lot of parents are looking for something different from what we've had in the past few years. Just not happy with the pictures in general, so.
Cool. The last sports photos are hard to do.
They are, but if you try, I think it's something different, we can, you know, spice up. We've had multiple different photographers and a whole different slew of qualities in pictures over the years.
Thanks for finding them. I did look at his Facebook page.
I shared the Facebook page earlier with the group, so
Okay.
they've heard of him anyway.
I mean, I would love to.
He's a
see
local, he
not
graduated from
just-
Custer.
Not just the team or whatever still photos, but his action shots, the horse action shots.
Yeah, he's
It's
got,
really
this whole
cool.
book is like all of his, anything that he's done, like sports and like families and action shots and like senior pictures and everything that he's done, so. And all his stuff is digital, he's like, you literally can see all the pictures before you buy anything. So you're not stuck with like the one picture that you don't like, he's gonna have like multiple of each kid, different props, he's like, I have smoke machines I wanna bring in
So
and
it's
that
not
kind of
like
stuff.
Oh, that's the,
Yeah,
oh my God, that's.
so everything's digital on his website, he's like, you can see it all before you order it, everything, so.
Any questions on jersey, socks, apparel, pictures? Okay, that's all for BP.
Okay, I guess I'll start with, so I have a couple of things that I wanna talk about just from what I've learned recently, but I'll go with our current bank balance is $28,169.68. I will have to say that was as of last night. Today I deposited the cash and checks from the golf outing, which was another $4,750. And then I'm still waiting on the Venmo deposit to come through from the golf outing also, which was another $3,832.62. So really, we can increase that by 36 to probably about $36,000. So, but that is where our current bank balance is. We've taken quite a few, all of our Team Snap registrations. The Team Snap balance to still collect is $8,675.16, but that comes in on payments on the 15th of every month, as some of us know that. That's where we're at. Just a QuickBooks update, as I use QuickBooks, we are running, and this is information for the board, we are running a 2017 version of QuickBooks on a 2017 computer that is running Windows 10 that no longer has battery life. Here's my concern. With this, although I back up QuickBooks on our little thumb drive, if that, because that QuickBooks is, it is a software to that computer, if we were to lose that computer, we lose that QuickBooks. We don't lose our records because we have that, but we lose that QuickBooks. So, I am wondering, and QuickBooks is no longer supported in that software format. It is only supported with their online version. So they've gone to a cloud-based version, as most everything else has gone to a cloud-based version. And so I looked up what this would cost us. And so QuickBooks Simple is pretty much all that we would need, and that would run us $30 a month, and that could be used online on any device. So we would not need to support a dedicated association computer that is 6 going on 7 years old at this point in time.
I'll make a motion to move to the cloud.
Second?
Any other discussion? Plus their updated reports are way better.
Let's take the official vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, I'll work on that. My other, as I was just, one night was looking around and was thinking about the pricing of TeamSnap. So we currently spend $1,299 on TeamSnap. And, however, the functionality of what we use of that $1,300 that we spend on TeamSnap is really very low, or very minimal. So I think if I remember right, the association used to have Sports Engine.
Yes.
And we weren't happy with Sports Engine, is that correct? What was it that moved us away from Sports Engine?
It's just not very user-friendly.
It's not as user-friendly.
No.
Because there are groups in Muskegon that use it, that have said it's great, and that's why I'm wondering if it's the different levels.
And maybe it's been updated since, I mean,
Yeah,
this is like back like 6 years ago or whatever.
Okay.
I think we've been on TeamSnap for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, so what I found is that Sports Engine at least publicizes their prices. TeamSnap does not. TeamSnap for an association call for pricing. And to me, I'm like immediately leery of that, okay? So I am going to call TeamSnap and ask about this pricing and say, why are we paying this price where Sports Engine for their basic is $800 a year, where their middle of the road that does more than what TeamSnap is doing for us right now is that $1,299. So my whole point is are we getting the best bang for our buck in this program that we're using? Because I recognize we need it for registration, we need it for billing, we need it for invoicing, we need it for rostering, for all of those points, but are we getting the most out of what we're spending? So, just information, food for thought. I am gonna call TeamSnap and just kind of pick their brain as to, can we do the same, can we get what,
Basic features.
can we get more basic features?
Yeah.
Using what we use, because we really are using fairly basic
Yeah.
features, really, for less. Yep. Like that. That was my TeamSnap thoughts. I'll give a golf outing report from the financial standpoint on monies that were collected. We are still waiting on the bill from Lincoln Hills that really will tell us how much we made. But at the event, we collected $4,750. I'll write this up for you slower. Okay. Too. We had a total of checks that were deposited from poll sponsors of $1,700. At the event, we collected through our Square account $1,571, and then through our Venmo account, we collected, which was both poll sponsors as well as players and other donation items, $3,832.62. for a total of $11,853.62. I am estimating, based on what Anne Marie and Shelley have told me, that our expenses will be somewhere around $3,565, which means our proceeds are $8,288.62, which I think we have to give a lot of credit to Anne Marie and Shelley for doing a lot of work. That's a great,
It was a group.
great proceeds.
It was a whole group effort.
It's a little chilly, but it was fun. Anything else you wanna add, Anne-Marie, on the call?
Yeah, we were really excited with how it worked out for that day. We had beautiful weather. Marianne was on the championship team. That
17 under.
yeah,
I think we're only 15 under.
it was impressive, and we're excited for next year. We've got great ideas already, and anyone who wants to participate, just let us know. We'll find a job for you.
It was fun. When Erica Reed puts together your team, you just fall in line.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Team sponsors, so we haven't officially put anything this together, but as I'm thinking about Vince and his photo possibilities, we've talked about team sponsors with a banner that they would carry with them, with the picture of the team and then the sponsors down below. And then there would also be a banner that would stay here for those businesses, but potential for 2 different levels, a $500 sponsor and then a $250 sponsor from local businesses that the kids could bring in. And then the proceeds from that team sponsor, those team sponsors would go towards tournament fees or any of the other team expenses that they might have.
What is going to be given back for the sponsorship? Is there like game tickets, that kind of stuff? Is there anything going back to the companies that are sponsoring?
I guess at this point, the board had just thought about just the name that would go, the advertising that would go on those banners that would both travel with the teams as well as stay here at the rink. I think we talked about like in tournament bags, or Heather thought that was more of like a tournament sponsor, but the opportunity to throw in some cards.
You say tournament bags, I keep
I'm
saying
sorry,
tournament bags, I mean
tournament
like coaches
sponsors, my
bags,
bad.
when
Yeah.
they come here
Right.
for a
My bad.
tournament, we give the coach a bag of things, they can put things in those. The idea is basically to give teams another opportunity to raise funds, instead of just selling candy bars, which everybody loves the candy bars, don't get me wrong. There will still be candy bar opportunities, but as far as getting those tournament fees paid for, a lot of parents, I know in the association and things, have businesses, and when you can write off the tournament fees, it's a way better deal. And then the team gets those funds to then pay for those tournament things, so it's not out of pocket. So the whole idea is to keep those costs down for the kids, so they can keep playing. We have the best rates in the greater West Michigan area, and we want to stay with that.
And a rink that is extremely supportive.
You said something about 250 or 500. Is there gonna be 2 different levels?
Yes.
Okay, and then
It can be more too.
so what?
Yeah.
So I'm just
What is
asking,
the
like,
difference?
for the 2 different levels, what's the difference for a business?
So I would envision larger font
Okay.
for a $500 sponsorship.
Or a logo with it versus
Or
just the
concept.
name?
Yep. Like, this is still something that we're in
Very fluid.
fluid conversation.
Because I know when we did it for the Walk Run for Fun in Scottsville, it was the name, or if you did more and then you got the logo with it too.
Gotcha, okay.
We'd also use the advertising opportunities for our social media pages. We are hoping, can we talk about the screen, not yet? The screen, green screen.
Oh, yeah, you can tell us if Tom's done it yet.
It's supposed to be done by Friday.
Can somebody explain that better than I can?
So we have like a TV screen menu board that we can run advertisements on and sell space on for the tournament weekends. If restaurants wanna buy it for the weekend, we have to work it out still too. But they could sponsor up there for, hey, mention this ad, get a free crazy bread, whatever, I'm just saying. It'll have locker room assignments and it'll flash between different things, so it has any capabilities from TV, weather, live feed, short live feeds, depending on what happens with Live Barn, down to, hey, you know, this tournament was sponsored by Sportsman's, you know, type of, and everything in between. So, it should be hooked up by Friday. I talked to Tom Allway today. They're working on it. They had to put a separate Wi-Fi network in the rink for the security purposes of it, and that's what's been taking so long. But the actual box and stuff is installed on the TV, ready to go, so they're just waiting on that Wi-Fi network.
And Nick mentioned Live Barn, Tim has been working on Live Barn, he's just waiting on them to get back to him.
That's exciting.
with
Yeah, that's
getting
really
it installed.
exciting.
I know Tim did say with that too, there were some concerns again about the internet too, so I don't know if that ties
Yeah.
into, they have to have their own network. So I don't know if that ties back into the same thing that the college is currently doing for our TV screen or what, but
Is this gonna be a new TV screen or off the existing one that's already
we're
here?
gonna use the existing one to see how it goes for a couple of months, and then if it takes off, then there's somebody that was willing to donate it, so a larger 80-inch screen or something up there.
Where the bulletin board is,
Perfect.
that'd be huge.
Right.
Like going to other rinks and it's all digital news.
Yeah, it's nice.
Last thing on my report is FlipGive. FlipGive was, I think I said this at the last meeting, so FlipGive is actually a product that was created by Canadian hockey parents that were trying to offset their ice fees and rink fees and things of that sort. So we have 4 different teams established. I will tell you that currently the 10U team is winning in the amount of money that they have. So 10U has
Shot this on.
10U is, and so it works the same as like Raccoon does, where, is that how you say it? Rakuten,
Rakuten.
sorry. Where when you go through the FlipGive website, then they,
It's actually an app.
whichever, then they give a percentage of, from whatever, location that you're.
Under Armour's at 10% right now.
And you can stack coupons with it too.
There you go. Okay, so here's the
It's
reason
not
why.
like you're using it.
At $78.19. U14 is close behind.
Yeah, because my team hasn't even been like registered yet.
At $73.18. And believe it or not, U6, U8, who hasn't even started playing yet, is at $9.70. So there's other ways to offset. This gives me, so Flip gives us, from the Wolves Association, it gives us a direct breakdown per player or by player, so that then when we pull out these funds that we can't do until February, so they hold them until February when I set the deadline, so to speak. Then when we pull out those funds, we can itemize that straight to everyone's tournament fee invoice, jersey invoice, sock invoice, whatever.
You can buy gift cards on there too, so if you're gonna buy gift cards for anybody, just go through the app and buy them on there, and there's different percentages based on what you buy. But if you have like what did I buy? Piranhas, all those hockey stores are all on there. So if you have an account through them, whatever you've earned in your account, like points wise, it's fine, you just go through their app, you go in, you log in, and your account's right there like you'd shop normally. But the great thing is it's not earned income, so it's not like Rakuten where it comes back to you and you have to claim it on your taxes. This goes directly to the nonprofit. And that's why Mary Ann was willing to keep track of everybody individually, so it goes into your account, but you don't have to claim it as income, it goes toward the nonprofit.
They give me an easy report, so it's okay.
You can share those with your family and friends too, so that they can shop, and then the money goes right towards your player. Any questions on that stuff? Probably not. Alright, mine is gonna be very brief. I just want to promote the flow page. If you don't know what it is, please see me afterwards. I love it, and it's like my labor of love, so I'm gonna try to keep that updated throughout the year. It's all of the links that you could possibly need for the Wolves, just on one page. We also have a remind group for anybody that likes to get text message reminders instead of going to your email or the Facebook page. And then volunteering, we're really kind of pushing that this year. If you have any ideas for things that players can do to earn some volunteer hours, they don't need to. We just want to promote giving back to our community because our community gives us so much. So as of today, just since May, the Try Hockey for Free that we did in May, we have 142 player volunteer hours, and that does not include parent hours. So that's really kind of impressive, I think. And I do give out awards to every player that volunteers to keep track so that if they want to use it on job applications or college applications or something in the future, they have a paper record.
NHS.
Yes,
Yeah.
that as well.
And we did start a t-shirt program as well. Some of the 14U kids were our test subjects on this, and they worked for Brandon at the Fair Parking Cars. And it's a Wolves logo on the front and on the back, and it says Wolf Pack Gives Back, so that when they're out volunteering, people know who they are. It's really cool. So glad. They look really good out there, though.
That's it for me.
Brandon.
Awesome. I do know how that is, you mentioned in mine.
So the admin notes
okay.
are there, the model ones are attached.
Sweet. So we had our first coaches meeting, earlier this month, to go over some expectations going forward and what kind of code of conduct and ethics that we're gonna follow. Our next meeting is tomorrow. We're gonna go over some coaching contracts and information about that. Player evaluations will be the first week of October. Keep trying to push them back because I don't wanna have to bring in a group of guys or gals to constantly try to evaluate one or two players. Cause I know we still have fall sports going on. The purpose of the evaluations is to see where your child starts and where they're going to finish. So that way, every year they kind of get their own little report card so they can tell during the off season, well, what can I work on to get a little bit better?
Do you do just beginning and end of season, or do you do like a middle of season too?
It depends if, so there's two ways to look at it. You could do one mid-season for the sole purposes of if the team is struggling, to see why we're struggling, or where the development's not happening, or if we just wanna do a more kind of touch and go to see where that player's going at, for the coaches to see if they're going to need to advance their practice plans. But I don't think we need to do a second tier in between there, because with this year there being coaches meetings, I'm gonna be making the ice at least once a week for them practices and giving direct feedback to those coaches. So that way we don't just get stagnant in our practices and go, well, this is good, they're learning it. Well,
Push 'em.
if they're not being challenged, then it's not a practice. So. CEP requirements are coming in. We still have a couple still straggling on it. With USA Hockey being nice enough to basically have it in your living room kind of style versus having to travel, there's plenty of opportunities to get on those and get those accomplished. I remember I had to go up to like Petoskey or down to South Bend for one. So CEP courses can be taken right at your laptop, way nicer than what it used to be. I know the modules are quite a bit shortened since last time, so those shouldn't take too long. And you can take, I don't know, I think keeps moving. You can take those modules at any point. You can also take more modules if you'd like to. You don't just have to take the ones that particularly pertain to this year. What else? Safe sport, oh good lord. Safe sport. We need more people with safe sport.
We're encouraging everyone to get it.
Just for the fact is that there's such a draw nowadays when it comes to locker rooms, that we need parents or volunteers to be in those locker rooms until coaches are able to get to those locker rooms. Because the USA Hockey and MAHA do not want to end up with star reports or conversations that something happened like locker boxing or something like that. They're taking that very serious with no questions. And that will be a coach being immediately terminated, not allowed to coach for a year, or an association sanction. So it's really important that we get those safe sports taken care of with background checks. I know background checks are back up to general pace. They were on a 30-day lag But they are also back on top of the background check, so if you put one in tonight, we should have it back by the end of the week.
How can you tell if yours are still good? I don't know how long they were good for, like I know I didn't do mine last year, but
Everything's yearly now.
it's yearly now, okay, I thought it was 2 years before.
It used to be,
Is it possible for you guys to do like a screenshot with a share to direct parents the correct way to do their version of it? I've had 3 sets of parents now say that they can't figure it out, but maybe if through one of your sites, if you could do a.
It is difficult.
They have to turn if they're doing it on their phone, they have to turn it sideways.
I just
I
think,
have to do the safe work.
Yes.
well, all of it, just like, hey, here's the rundown,
they
here's,
definitely took a step back this year in how they rolled it out. In years past, it was way easier.
The flow page that Sarah has though is masterful. It has all the links, it has a little blurb on what you need to do, because that's what I sent to the entire 10U team, saying,
Are you thinking like screenshots?
but I'm hearing what you're saying, like step 1,
yes.
step 2, step 3.
And then like get your background check first, or get
Yeah,
your
your
USA,
WSAHA
whatever it
number.
is, the order is.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
They implemented something called like My Hockey IQ or headquarters or something that's supposed to keep track of that, but it wasn't working up
Okay.
until like, I don't know, September.
Because usually you can just log into your USA Hockey account, and as you scroll down through your listings and their accomplishments, like it gives you click links to all that immediately.
Okay.
But I'm willing to sit down with anyone that needs help doing that.
And I can do what you just asked to.
Yeah. Even if it's a one-page sheet that we can give some of our less technologically advanced parents.
We might have to print it out.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that I'm gonna touch on real quick, we had quite a bit of interest this year in player coaches, or student coaches. There is a form, they can get from me, get filled out. These have to be signed by the head coach of the team and also by me. It requires a USA player number to be associated with that. They do have to have this form here, and then they're gonna sit, all student coaches are gonna have to sit through a little 30-minute training session with me. For our coaches, which I'll go over tomorrow with is that, they're out there on the ice to help you, but they're not there to run the practice for you. They cannot just take over a certain drill and say, I'm gonna run through. They can't do that.
You're having those kids also do safe sport, correct?
Yes.
They're like cone movers, puck picker uppers, making sure the kids are
Demonstrators.
listening.
Demonstrating, because a lot of, some of the coaches don't get on the
Demonstrators,
ice.
yeah.
Yeah, which is great, because it's always nice to get some of the older kids back into the association, because sooner or later they're gonna fulfill our roles and be coaching eventually as their life goes on. But, we definitely have a few that wanna do it, which I'm happy that they're gonna do it. We just need to do it the correct way and make sure that they're through our system correctly.
I think that, and maybe Brandon, this can be something you talk about tomorrow too, is that I hope that those player coaches aren't just looking to help with the U14 team because they've got buds or old buds or whatever on the team, but where they could really be instrumental and looked up to in a really like idol type of way is on our U6 and U8 practice time.
He's
Because,
made that pretty clear to the kids already that they will be helping with multiple levels.
okay, oh
Brandon
good, I
has.
hadn't heard that, okay,
Yeah.
great,
Sorry, I didn't get that back.
that's okay.
Other than that, I'll move down through the Maha Adri updates. Koha ran into the K-Wings now. Wonderful. Cadillac and TC joining Adri West, which is great because every year it seems that we end up trying to schedule them guys anyways, but they're always in a District 5. So we never really get to do that, so I'm happy that they're in the District 6.
That's like present right now, this season?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wasn't TC in our Adri district not last year?
It
but-
was for 4-2 only. This is
Okay.
the entire association now, so 10U, 12U,
Got it.
they're all in there.
Have they been in a northern
Yes.
region?
It says possibly Mount Pleasant joining next year. 10U, we're looking at 25 teams, 3 divisions. Of course, it's gonna be broke down 9, 8, and 8, 12-minute periods, no change really there. 12U, there's 20 teams, 3 divisions, 7, 7, and 6, still at 12 minutes. 14U is at 15 teams, 2 divisions, 8 and 7. I know those numbers don't really seem like they mean much, but if you were to look at those same numbers last year, they are way down compared to this year. So it's nice to see that these numbers got bumped back up, that we're getting kids back into hockey. I think last year there was only 11 and 14 U. So it's good to see teams coming back and actually having some people. Scheduling meeting is October 1st at the Patterson for our association. I think we got everyone that knows that needs to go down. We are asking, which I think is already pretty prominent in all the team snaps right now, is we're trying to figure out some tournaments to get into. So that way we don't sit there and go, oh shoot, we gotta cancel that one because now we wanna do this tournament. So that way we can just jump into those without a problem. And then lastly, on the notes here is Adray 8U League has been tabled till next year due to lack of help from Adray West. This is something I'm really hoping they're gonna push through, because jamborees are nice, but I think it's a major disconnect between going to the 8U and then all of a sudden you're in 10U. I think it kind of shell shocked some parents, and it'd be nice if they actually did create that league, so that way maybe they don't play the 35 or 36 games, but at least if they started getting into the idea that, you know, you have 12 games, you're gonna travel for those 12 games, or they may be here at home, versus going, well, we only had to go to 3 jamborees last year, and now we gotta go to how many games?
44.
You know?
Now, would they keep it half ice if they did that,
Yeah,
so
it's
the
gonna
kids
be
are
half
getting
ice,
more
yeah.
pucks on their
Yeah.
sticks and everything?
Still
Okay,
cross ice.
awesome.
And they actually talked about, organizations having the choice, you could choose to do that league after January 1, or you could choose to stay just as the 8U is now, so there would be a choice.
Yeah, this was really, this summer, I thought this was gonna happen.
I did too.
But then all of a sudden, Tim came back last week from this Adray meeting and it was like, no. So we probably have to, reach out to him to find out what that conversation looked like as to why that got tabled. Yeah.
Going on to Baja.
These notes are on the agendas on the very back page.
Yeah, so Game Sheets is gonna be the new system they're gonna use. You're not gonna pay for Game Sheets anymore, it's gonna be on an iPad. We're going to purchase iPads for, each team and 2 for the rate. And we're actually working with Leamington High School, to hopefully get some of the.
Legendary schools.
Legendary schools, sorry. It's okay. You can call it Legendary. I know they all have, to get some of their retired iPads, cause we can buy them at a discounted rate, and they do have the operating system. I'm just waiting for Andy to get back to me as to when we can purchase those, so that everyone will have it. Every team manager will have it. Doesn't mean you have to, if you have your own iPad you wanna use, you can download the app there too, but we probably should provide that for everybody, so they have that.
Has somebody informed Nancy of this? That she's gonna have to go digital, cause,
Yeah, to mention.
I don't
Well,
know
she
well
don't-
that's
she
No.
can take paper notes and then we can input it in.
She
There was-
could, yeah.
Because this is more relevant to team managers having to put the input into it versus it being a papered and sent in thing. So Nancy can still do her normal
like
3
game
sheets, whatever, but
Okay.
those
And
3
the
sheets
managers
then will
put it
take
in?
you to that iPad and you'll enter in
Okay,
the information.
just
So
that's a lot for
And then
one
do you have
person,
the
just back there and do the
signature
music
then
and
for
all
the
of the
coaches?
iPad stuff.
We don't know a lot about Game Sheets, because I went to go try and get in, and they don't have our passcode ready for us yet, so. We're just waiting on that.
I was
I'm
just
sure it'll
thinking,
be a
like,
process
she'll
this
have to
year.
put it in quickly, because that coach isn't gonna wanna sign it unless it's on the electronic, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how quick it would take for her to put it in there.
Maybe
like you
we
said,
can
you
get
haven't been in on
a
it.
high school helper.
There you go.
Or maybe there's a tech,
Yeah.
techie
Do it
dad
as
that
the
wants to
game
sit there.
That's
There's
true.
like a,
That's why we got 4 coaches on the bench.
we can't try anything out until you do something.
Your book for
Right,
Right.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, I went in to try the other day, but couldn't get to do that, so.
Play-ins, I know 14U doesn't have play-ins.
There's no more.
There's no more.
Didn't have enough roster for it. I already went over the 2 adults in there. Districts and states, you have some good news about that for the 10U though.
10 new districts are here and 10 new states are here. We have 10 new districts every year for some reason.
We're usually
And
bronze
then,
or something.
reffing, others don't like reps, but there still is just a shortage of it. And there are very few clinics to get in there. Even at the 14U level, some of those kids would be great to get them into a repping clinic, start getting at least their level 1 in there. Because our repping group is getting elderly and we need some youth put back in there, so that way we can still continue to play hockey.
No, that's just go on USA Hockey and like, it's all through there, right?
Yeah, instead of going for a team, you'd go down to repping.
Right.
Is that it? Or do you want me to keep going?
You just go. Is that under you?
Oh, okay, well,
We'll allow you to go.
so,
Delegation.
awesome.
I mean,
So our new goalie coach, Austin Wilson.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Intro or no? Sorry.
You can
Yeah.
introduce yourself.
All right. Well, excited to be here. Played hockey here from when the rink opened in 2002. Played it throughout my life and played here through my junior year of high school. Played juniors out in Minnesota and played college hockey at University of Arizona. Newly back to the area last year, but excited to come and give back, and especially to the goalies. I wish I would have had somebody volunteering their time when I was a kid, and I think Mark Hamilton approached me last year about doing it. Told me the association had somebody coming up from Muskegon, I believe, at the time. I understand how expensive goalie coaches are and just the goalie position in general, so excited to be here, give back, and see where it takes us.
Exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exciting. Maybe we'll have a plethora that.
We're gonna have a lot of goalies now.
I was just
Then
they're
you have
usually
like
hard to
four
come
now.
from.
Right now, so we'll see on the ice on Thursday.
Couple new ones. Speaking of new positions, now we have a goalie coach. One of the things we talked about was getting more positions. We obviously haven't worked on changing bylaws or updating bylaws or anything, but there are board-appointed positions. There are still some out there if people wanna jump on board with anything, but, I can tell you, Meg Pagan Naylor, I'm gonna say her name wrong, came on as our equipment manager. So she's been inventorying all the equipment, she's gone through and cataloged all of it. She's looked at, condition, expiration dates on helmets, everything. We did get a little bad news from her doing that, but we needed that information. We have, as of December, we will have 5 helmets that are, legal. So, we'll be grant writing. We'll be, searching for sponsorships for those types of things, for equipment. We just did a budget right now, we're gonna apply to Community Foundation and a couple other things. We're looking at about $5,600 in equipment that we need to replace, the younger equipment that we have, the younger kids' equipment that we have. We also saw a need last year to have some equipment at that 10U age. We had a couple kids come out and try hockey for free, and luckily we had some older kids there that we borrowed equipment from, and we're able to gear them up, to get them out there to try hockey. So that, we will be working on that and getting some funding for that, but we know what we have now. She's cleaned all of it, labeled all of it. She did above and beyond, above and beyond. So, we have a new equipment manager, new goalie coach, we have a fundraising director, which will be Anne Marie.
Yay.
We have social media, which Sarah has taken on, and we are still looking, events manager is Kelly McCune, and we are still looking for area reps for all of the schools. We did back to school night at Lennox Elementary this year, and we ran out flyers before the end of the night, every night. We had more girls than anything coming up and asking us about hockey. I think Poppy Gurvich is our biggest cheerleader right now at elementary. But I would love to have people in every elementary school in our area able to do those types of things, because it was great. And our Learn to Skate is up to how many?
30. Last I looked at Learn to Skate registration, it's at 30. So I hope they know that they probably want to split those 30 kids.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the best one. Try Hockey for Free is moving up.
Try Hockey for Free is going to be the 23rd. If anyone can help with that, let us know. We are working on the Growth Award for our association, and that is one of the components of it. in addition to that, we want to get the kids noted, for their grades. We didn't know a lot about it last year, but there's a recognition for our state association for kids and their grades. So it's again, the honor roll, all the honor roll, those types of things, we wanna be able to turn that in and get them recognized. The older kids can get a scholarship, correct, Sarah?
There's one they can apply for, yeah.
So we wanna open up all those opportunities to them. So Ludington Elementary is willing to work with us, it's just a matter of getting in touch with all the other schools that we can, to get them on board. And then the other thing we talked about is finding a way to get past members, still involved in our association. So we wanna, get a bylaws committee together to kind of go through our bylaws. There's about 4 pages on choosing teams, which we don't have that issue right now. But if we ever do, it's there, but there are a lot of things to look at in there as far as, maybe getting some more board positions, share the love, everybody get involved kind of thing. And, looking at how we can have membership at different levels. Anything? Did I miss anything?
No.
Okay, so we'll open the floor for questions, concerns, comments, anything you wanna see happen. I will say we've gone over the end of year surveys, we continue to go over those. That's where the parent-player contract for this year came up, and we'll continue to go over those. And we'll offer another one at the end of this year, so please don't hesitate to let us know.
With our home tournaments that we're hosting, not only those like their districts in the states, but all of our level tournaments.
Yes.
We talked about like bringing the photographer back in. We used to have one that did like all the action shots, and then like we bought a disc as a team. It was like, I think we paid like $15 a person, everybody got a disc of like all of the pictures, and we haven't done that in a couple of years.
So we have to have one of those for the state.
States you probably do, yeah, but we had them always, just even our home tournaments
Yeah.
levels. It is something that I have talked to Vince about. He said he would be willing to talk to somebody about it, but in general, just bringing somebody in to do those. Usually it's the guy that I think is from Grand Rapids that comes and does them.
Are you talking about like for Knocker?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is like a rink run thing, but I don't see why we couldn't, as an association, ask to bring in one.
Sure. Or just to have, for them to bring one back in. It's just been a couple years since we've had that, and I know we've gotten a lot of cool pictures from those. It's all action shots. It's not stage pictures or anything like that.
We could open it up to a few photographers. I mean, for the big tournament weekends, that's a lot for one person to watch and shoot every game.
We have to have someone who can do the on-site digital
I think
showing
exactly
of
what
all
you're
the,
like talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to put some kind of RFQ together or something for that, cause I don't figure out all the details, but yeah, that'd be kind of fun to have.
We got some, like really cool like ones in glass when we went up to Dessous the last time. They mounted them right there for us and everything.
Personally, I would just like to keep it local because I
Yes,
like to offer
absolutely.
the opportunity to community members first.
Yeah.
Before we like looked at like bigger city photographers, but that's my own input. Any comments from the live stream viewer? Did they
No.
disappear? Just tell me no.
No.
Okay.
There are viewers.
Okay.
It was 2, now it's 1, but
Good boy. Way to
It's
go.
probably my
Good job. Mom watches everything.
So our next association meeting is October 16th. We'll be here at 6:30. If anyone wants to travel, the Anthems are going to the Sioux for the Boo in the Sioux tournament, 27th through the 29th of October. And I think we went over all the other dates on here, so. Nothing else? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
second.
We are adjourned.
Meg says no comments.